Welcome back to This is VANCOLOUR. As a British Columbian, you're going to pay more for a lot of things. Here to tell you all the things that will be more expensive in BC, an old friend of mine when I used to contribute to 980 CKNW and he was a producer there. Finally, we've come together to collaborate. He's now a staff writer at the Daily Hive, Amir Ali. Amir, we did it.
We did it, finally.
Amir and Amir.
We've been talking about it for years.
It's like looking at a mirror. Let's get down to business, though. The biggest cost increase that I think people are most worried about is at the grocery store. What do we have to look forward to or not look forward to?
For sure, yeah. Food is going to be going up in price a lot. According to the most recent report from the Canada's Food Price Agency, the average family of about 4 people is going to be paying another $800 this year compared to last year.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's around a 3% increase, and that means stuff like bread, dairy, meat, fruits and vegetables. Literally everything is going to be going up in price when it comes to food. And obviously 2024, that was a huge story with stuff like Loblaws and that kind of thing. So,
well, and record visits to the food bank as well, right?
For
so
sure.
Canadians and British Columbians are already stretched when it comes to groceries.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's going to be another key issue for British Columbians next year. So people are going to be having to find ways to cut costs for sure. And I think, one of the ways people do try and cut costs is by buying in bulk at places like Costco. But even your Costco membership is going to be going up by about $5 to $10, depending on if you're getting a monthly or a yearly subscription.
We're just getting nickeled and dimed at every corner.
I think some people like to, drown their sorrows with alcohol and booze, and you're going to be paying more for booze as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the federal alcohol tax going up by 2%. It's capped at 2%. So, a little bit, it could be worse, I guess. But yeah, you're going to be paying more for your booze as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's much consolation to just be like, yeah, it could be worse. But moving on from, I guess, the essentials, what other things will British Columbians be paying more for this year?
Yeah, British Columbians specifically, obviously there's the annual increases for a lot of services like TransLink. TransLink actually had a fare increase limit of 2.3% the previous few years. That limit is gone now. So the proposed hike for 2025 is 4%. That's not confirmed yet. It could be less or more, but that's what they proposed when they announced the annual hikes for the next, I want to say, 10-ish years or something like that.
Okay, so we're paying more for the bus now. Great.
Yeah, paying more for the bus. If you're at home, you're going to be paying more for your utilities. If you're a Fortis BC customer, the increase is about 17%.
17%?
Which is around over $14 more per month. So yeah, that's a huge...
Where do they get the goal to increase prices 17%? That's brutal. Do we know anything about BC Hydro, though, for people who are on electric as opposed to gas?
I believe there is going to be a hike. I don't have the specific numbers on BC Hydro, though, but there's another proposed hike. I was thinking about this segment and thinking it would have been easier to say what's not going up in price in 2025. And the answer to that is essentially nothing. Right. It seems like everything is going up in price. And that includes your entertainment. If you are on Spotify or Disney Plus, your subscriptions are going up by a couple bucks to $5, depending on if you're doing a monthly or a yearly subscription. So even if your entertainment is going up in price, which is crazy.
Christia Freeland said that if you wanted to afford groceries, you should just cancel your Disney Plus. So
that's actually what I did.
You would be saving more money this year, I guess, if you did that.
Yeah, so I don't have any streaming services at home. I use Tubi, which is the free service that has like crappy 90s movies on it.
Yeah,
so.
Tips from Amir. I like it. Okay. What else are we looking at?
Honestly, that's kind of the gist of it when it comes to services and things that people are paying for at the till. But something I wanted to mention to you, I actually stumbled across a post on Reddit a couple days ago from someone who was in their 20s or 30s talking about the motivation to work. And saying that he feels like he doesn't have incentive to work hard anymore because as hard as he works in a place like BC where the cost of living is so high, he doesn't feel like he's getting ahead.
Right.
It got to the point for him where he says he's thinking about just enjoying life and waiting for his inheritance from his parents. That's how desperate people are now. Just to
seems like a long wait, but I do certainly know people that have moved away and just said it's too expensive here.
Yeah.
Certainly when wages are not going up or catching up with the cost increases, some of which you've just outlined, I can understand that.
Yeah, speaking of the cost of living for housing, property taxes obviously are going up this year. City of Vancouver up 3.9%.
Those rich asset owners, they can afford that. That's fine.
But for the single family though, that's about an additional $149 a month.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah.
So it's fair, and we know that rents never seem to come down either.
Yeah, there's going to be another rent increase this year, of course. And you mentioned people moving, away from BC to cheaper places, and I actually did a story today about folks moving away from Vancouver to places like Edmonton, where the cost of housing is so much cheaper. I do monthly rent reports, and at the very bottom of my report, I usually put in a little thing about how much it actually costs in Edmonton to rent, just to give Vancouver readers, I guess, a little bit of a jealous jab.
Sure.
Cost of housing is going to go up with the rent increase this year. Property taxes going up, as I mentioned. So really, no matter what walk of life you're from, you're going to be taking a hit here when it comes to how much you're paying for everything, essentially.
And really quickly, we got about 20 seconds here. I feel like the worst part about this is while we're paying more, it feels like we're always getting less in terms of just the quality of services and, the quality of food sometimes even. Are you feeling that as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've written a lot of stories about the whole concept of shrinkflation. People are paying more and getting less, even on something simple like bags of chips. People have actually done comparisons and compared how much they're getting now versus how much they were getting before. And it does seem like people are getting less despite paying more, which is terrible.
Well, what an optimistic way to start the new year. Amir, Thank you so much. So glad we could do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mo.
Folks, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Keaton Bessie, Jeff Meggs, and Amir Ali for tonight's show. If we missed anything that you'll be paying more for this year, even though I think we covered a lot, please shoot me an email to let me know, mo@thisisvancolour.com. Also, please follow me on all the socials, including Blue Sky @VANCOLOUR. We'll be back next week, but until then, be colorful. Peace.